If a goal is worth having, it's worth blocking out the time in your day-to-day life necessary to achieve it. Jill Koenig. Hey guys, welcome to Creativism, applying creativity to every aspect of life. I'm Josh the Creative, and this show takes a look at my past successes, mistakes, and all the things that I've learned from my own experience or the experience of others. This show is about creating better habits, changing your mindset on your job, and nurturing your creativity. So, whether you work for yourself or you work for somebody else, this podcast is for you. And today, the cup of coffee that I want to share that I've had recently. So I'm sure that if you drink coffee, there's a chance you might have heard of this thing called a whipped coffee. Apparently myself, who is a coffee lover and drinker, still lives under a rock. Never heard of this. My fiance, my then fiance, now wife, by the time you hear this, she actually told me about it. And at first I was a little confused, and then I thought, well, maybe I'll try it, because I saw a video, it looked pretty good. So what we did today was, and she actually had to help me out because I didn't really have the ingredients. It's supposed to use like instant coffee, but I really hate instant coffee. It tastes like garbage. If you know an instant coffee brand that actually tastes good, like it compares up to regular coffee, let me know so that I can eat my own words. Because otherwise, instant coffee is just garbage. So one of the first alterations I did was I just made an espresso shot. Then I took, instead of having just regular sugar, because I had to be different, I had like brown sugar, put that in there, mixed it in. We had a beater, but we didn't have the actual whisks for it. So we just stuck that bad boy in the blender for like 15 minutes. Got it whipped nice and thick, not as thick as it should be, but it was good enough. Poured that thing over some ice with some milk. I had almond milk. Stirred that bad boy up. Man, that thing was delicious. I mean, it was really sweet. I had to put a lot of sugar just to like whip it right, but it was really good. Like that's probably a nice holiday meal. Okay, so enough about coffee. So guys, in this episode, as you may have heard from last episode, what we're going to talk about is how to achieve your goals. So how many times have you set a goal and got really excited at the thought of achieving it? You got that release of dopamine at the anticipation of success. You're just overjoyed to achieve this goal, and then a day or two later, you're sitting at home, having done nothing to push toward that goal. And then a week or two later, the excitement passes, the drive is gone, and the goal now seems impossible. And if that doesn't sound familiar to you, then may I ask how your New Year's resolution is going? So you don't have to let yourself down with vague, unachievable, overambitious goals. So let's figure out what we can do to reach success in our goals. So as I was writing this, what I was trying to figure out is how to convey some of the steps, some of the things that I've learned into a practical scenario. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a phony goal, which actually was a goal of mine when I was in college, as a framework to see how we can practically apply these steps. So the goal for us to examine today is, I'm a college student and I need to pass my senior thesis class to graduate. Everything falls on this one class. My work ethic hasn't been the greatest in the past. I failed some classes that I had to retake. I barely got some core classes finished with a C. But this class requires a low A to pass. So without previously developed good habits, what can I do to succeed? So the first thing we're going to do to kind of knock this goal out is write that goal down and be specific. So what are you looking to achieve? Just saying, like for me, I need to pass this class to graduate. That's not good enough. So let's dive deeper. I need a well thought out senior thesis to pass. So number 2, okay, what smaller goals can you reach to get to the big goal? So maybe I can first start by researching a topic that I'm passionate about, which one of the things I'm very fascinated about is dreams. I love the idea of maybe translating a dream into photography. So what if I tried dream photography? Okay, well, what's next? So now I decide what sources of inspiration I want for the project. And then after that, maybe write down some rough ideas for the paper. It has to be like 12 pages. By the way, I don't like papers. TBH. Anyway, write down all the rough ideas for the paper, all the aspects of dream photography that are important, any observations on dreams, and so on. And then next, pick whatever dreams that I've had that I want to work with. And the goal list just goes on and on and on and on until I can reach the end goal. A compelling senior thesis on dream photography that gets me an A. So this method of breaking down the larger goal into smaller chunks can really make each part seem more achievable. Now that I have a smaller goal list laid out, my next step would be to give myself deadlines. So I've heard that whether someone has 2 weeks or 2 months to write a paper, the entire time will be used up to write that paper. So I could pretty much take 2 weeks or 2 months to write the same paper, and I would use up either those 2 weeks or those full 2 months to write it. So the one thing that will help me in the situation is to give each goal a deadline. So by X date, this needs to be done because I need to move on to the next item at hand. This allows structure to kind of take over the whole project, and it minimizes the procrastination from taking place. Because when we know we have time, we're going to take that time until we don't have time. And that's the power of procrastination. So now that we have a structure of the goals and we have deadlines for them, now we have to keep those goals in mind every single day. If I'm going to succeed at nailing that senior thesis, it needs to be on my mind almost every single day. I need to be taking steps to work on it, whether it's research or scoping out a shoot location or editing photos, whatever it is, I should be moving some amount of distance closer to the end goal. So after that, maybe you get into the routine of asking yourself, what did I do today to reach my goal? And this helps to assess if I was being lazy today or if I got ahead of my schedule, or if I need to rework my goal list to accommodate for some circumstantial changes that I really had no control over. Kind of allow me to assess if I need to rework the whole list. And then finally, and this is pretty much like the last thing on every list, have a plan and then bring it to God. It's always great to have a vision in mind of what goal you want to achieve, but it's always best to take it to your prayers and bring it before God. Asking for guidance, assistance in the journey. If He wills it, it will come to pass. there may be a better path to that goal that I would miss, or there'd be some aspects about that that I could have avoided because it wasn't in God's will quite the way I envisioned it. So, God is like, he is good to bring you through to success, but it takes trusting in him and at least taking action to start with a plan. So to recap, some of the things that we're going to be doing to achieve our goals is starting off by writing that goal, being specific, then taking that big goal, breaking it down to smaller goals, and then taking all of those smaller goals, giving deadlines for each one to create a structure for that big project to get each thing done, avoiding procrastination. A couple of side things, keep those goals in mind every day. Don't lose sight of those goals. Ask yourself what you did to reach that goal today as a opportunity for course correction, and then take that plan that you have and then bring it before God. And if he wills it, so shall it be done. So guys, thanks for listening. I hope this helps you and encourages you in this season. What I'm going to do this week is I'm going to have a link down below for you to access the images, the content from my senior thesis on dream photography. And I'll just kind of spoil it. I passed my senior thesis, obviously. And so this week, the piece of content that I want to recommend is a YouTube channel, Matt Diavella. If you are any familiar with minimalism, there's a documentary, and there's also just it's kind of its own lifestyle of just kind of living efficiently and kind of weeding out the excess of life. I followed this guy's channel for, I don't know, it's probably been a year or so now. I really haven't kept track, but he posts such high quality content about being productive, being creative. Even he dabbles into fitness, but really he uses these sort of different areas to kind of focus on some core aspects about setting goals, about kind of blocking out your days to have better success in the things that you're trying to achieve. So some of the stuff that I talk about has some influence from his channel, so that's why I kind of wanted to recommend that today, because I do think if you go through his channel list, you're going to find some things about setting goals, some things they're going to be add-ons to some of the stuff that I mentioned today. So thank you guys for listening. The song, the music, the audio you're currently listening to was produced by yours truly. You can find it on SoundCloud under Lewis Effect. You can find me on Instagram at Josh the Creative. If you want to see any of my older YouTube videos, you can just search Josh the Creative on YouTube. And if you want any information about my film business, just visit fearlesslionmedia.com. So thanks one more time for listening. Catch y'all next week. Deuces.